Mm. Hey everybody. Uh yeah, I've got giant spiders on my hair. Cool, eh? Well, I wanted to make this video kind of talking about the Acolyte. This is a spoiler review. Spoilers. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, and my spiders in my hair. Um, in the first video that I did, was a non-review video or non-spoiler review video. I can't take it anymore. Um, I had high hopes. Not actually, no, I didn't have high hopes. I didn't have any high hopes for this show. What I did was I defended the show for just being a show, quote unquote, because it to me it felt like one of those Disney Channel shows like Hannah Montana, That's So Raven, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. And like Wizards of Waverly Place. It didn't really feel like anything else. There was a lot of things that I could say about it that was bad, and there are a lot of things that I could have said about it that was good. And the thing is, the story was okay. That was it. The story was just okay. I would give it like a 6, maybe a 5 out of 10. And it actually had an interesting promise because they just told you everything that everybody was already questioning when they first started watching the show. Who this person was, who's the bad guy, are they being tricked, is this thing going on? And then they pretty much told you everything in the first 2 episodes. So I'm like, okay, cool, that means there must be something even bigger, even better of a secret, and more focused on our time than just the little things that are like more of a side quest. But episode 3, it just ruined everything that it was bringing up to be. And it's not Star Wars. It's not, it's trying to do too much, and it's trying to make itself known that this whole prophecy thing is years in advance. What I've seen over the past 26 years of my life trying to understand Star Wars is that there's no real like, oh, this has happened before thing. Like Anakin is the chosen one, and like Revan was like the martyr of legend or something like that. They had different prophecies throughout Star Wars that that correlates with the story, and you don't usually see that a lot in other things. There's when you watch a movie or a TV show, you think, sorry, it's really hot. If you see all the sweat, it's really hot, and I've been doing laundry, going back and forth to my laundry mat back to here, and it's been a rough day. And well, it just you made May a psychopath. She was pretty much born and raised as a psychopath, and you guys don't really seem to have a really good response. Then one's good, one's bad, one's good, one's bad. Away from lesbian Star Wars for a second and just focus on everything else. The sexuality, like I said before, is not my issue, but they pretty much just crammed it down your throat once again. But you know what? I actually like the way the characters looked. The characters look cool. They look pretty cool, but a lot of it is not feeling like Star Wars anymore. It just feels like whatever somebody's like situation is in like real life or something. And it starts to show. It's like you're reading someone's like, book, and you're like, oh, I can't wait for the next volume of that book. And when you start reading it, you start wondering, is this really about the dark evil lord dragon person, or is this someone's dad who just so happened to be a real asshole and they just haven't figured out get over that trauma? And that's fine. There's a lot of people who do that, including myself, who insert specific things of their life into their work, and that's what makes the story even more touched into you. But when it becomes nothing but that, or an agenda or something like that, then you're not writing a good story for the sake of writing a good story. You're trying to poke fingers at people, and that's not cool. I defended the Acolyte for the first 2 episodes because I just wanted people to understand that sometimes a show can be good, sometimes a show can be bad, but as long as you're having fun at the end of the day, then the show is what it means to you. But this right here just shows that either people aren't ready, those type of people, what I mean by like the people who are like Leslie Headland and Kathleen Kennedy, are still seeing this as black and white. I don't mind having people's sexual orientations or what they call themselves or identify themselves as. Literally, the entire world of Star Wars is literally every single person in this world is an alien to some extent. People marry aliens in this world, and nobody has ever really cared about that. They've cared more about cloners because there's just the same face over and over again, and you can understand that. And technically, cloners are like 6 years old, and they die when they hit like 8, 9, 10 years old. So you have to see where that there is prejudice in Star Wars, but it's never to be just one sexuality. It's never been one race. It's always been what was happening in the now, which I guess you could say like the cloners would be like that, but you don't usually see it all that much until you saw it through the Bad Batch. We know the clones are obsolete now. It's all about the humans and stuff like that, and the Empire. Everyone's wearing white armor now. Take that. It's the same clone thing, but they're human beings and not clones of the same person who probably make the same mistakes, is what they would pretty much say. So back to the Acolyte. I thought from her personality, May, in the first 2 episodes was like, oh, the Jedi did something bad, and now she's trying to get revenge off of them killing her sister or something like that. But no, she started the fire. She burned. She gave her sister ultimatums and was a genuine psychopath. Why are you so different? You're weird. Oh, you don't like killing things or hurting things or manipulating things and making them bow to your will? Well, you're the weird one. We live on a planet of nothing but women and only 2 kids. And Osha is asking questions that, well, these 2 have never asked themselves before. We never had any good time with this origin story of their past. Like, they didn't let this episode cook long enough for us to really care. All you showed us was actually nothing. You just showed us that, oh, witches are misunderstood, Jedi are very forceful. But apparently in this in the High Republic, this is supposed to be the height of the Republic, a height of the Jedi. This is when they're pretty much at their utmost good, at their utmost honorable. You know, they don't usually make as many mistakes. I mean, I've read a couple of the High Republic books, but this is supposed to be where the Jedi aren't labeled as bad guys, really. That's for the Clone Wars, because they become villains in a war. So I can understand from like a different perspective where like, oh, well, if you were seeing it from the reverse side of the coin, they're taking our kids away, you know, that's messed up. And I understand that, but they're not trying to steal them. They're just telling them, hey, this is your decision. That's it. The only time that I could ever see them actually doing something that would have been bad is if the Jedi just straight up kidnapped them and was like, deuces, and just flew off. That would have been a more of an understanding storyline, but they never did. So there was nothing that the Jedi really did that was messed up. And I feel like at this point, May is pretty much saying, I'm using this as an excuse just because it's funny. Like she's Azula Jr. or something. So it's more understandable why Osha wants to kill May more than the Jedi do. I mean, the Jedi want her to be put to justice, but Osha wants to kill May because May's a genuine psychopath. That's it. And she's like, you ruined everything. It's like reading from a storybook. Well, everything needs to be just like this storybook. Well, maybe I want to read another storybook. You want to read another storybook? Well, let me rip that out of your hands. It's not fair. So, I'm still going to watch The High Republic. I mean, The Acolyte. Because maybe it'll redeem itself, maybe not. But right now, I give this a a 1 out of 10 because your story isn't consistent and you're putting in too many threads that at first you were doing okay with, and everything was just kind of, you're snipping the threads until there's only like one focus. But now you're putting too many variables in there, you're putting too much ideas in there, and you're not letting anything focus. There's no focus. It's just another idea, another idea, another idea, and it's not working. Sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. Don't be sorry. Make a change.